As we hit 4 o'clock on this Monday afternoon, we start with the family of a man who was shot at East High School in March, saying that the shooting stole his joy. Gerald Mason's sister spoke at a meeting on school safety and security today about the trauma and PTSD that he's facing. He's a dean at East High. He was shot after patting down a student looking for weapons.
Mason's sister also called out Denver Public Schools for staying silent, and she called for change inside schools. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Rosari heard from her during an emotional plea. Jaleesa?
Yeah, an incredibly emotional sentiment given by Dean Mason's sister earlier today. Dean Mason was actually scheduled to speak today, but he underwent a procedure earlier today, and he's at home healing. But his sister, Kalina Newsom, shared with us her perspective of what happened that day. She said her mother alerted her that her brother had been shot. She rushed to the hospital with her family and saw her brother in a hospital bed with a gunshot wound to his chest, but a smile on his face. He said he was okay. Still, she said his joy was taken from him that day, and she is disappointed with the lack of action from the school district. This is what she had to say.
There are only 3 people that know what happened in that room, and one of them is dead, and his name is Austin, and we failed him too.
Now, Kalina spoke at the Parent Safety Advisory Group. This is a group that was created shortly after that shooting. They've been calling for a school security or safety plan, or a district safety plan rather, for the last few weeks. And according to DPS, we're expected to get that at some point today. Kim?
Okay, there's much more to look forward to. Just hearing her voice and how she spoke about that moment and takes us back to the fact there were just 3 people in that room. That's pretty powerful.
Absolutely. She was an incredibly powerful human being and really emotional. She had promised her brother that she wouldn't cry, but she couldn't help herself. She kept stressing that she felt an array of emotions that day, 87 to be exact, but she kept going back to that and how much it has impacted her and her family as a whole.
Well, and everybody in this city and in the school system. Thank you, Jaleesa.
We've been talking about this for a little while, the finances that are facing many people. That's because most people's property taxes in Colorado are going to go up next year. But just how much? Well, that'll depend on the outcome of this November's election.
Lawmakers introduced a bill today that, if passed, would push a decision on property taxes to the people. 9 News reporter Katie Eastman explains.
As property owners receive their new appraised values in the mail, the numbers can be shocking. On average, Colorado homes went up by 30% in 2 years.
Well, nobody should be forced out of where they live just because the prices have gone up.
Governor Polis joined several Democratic lawmakers on Monday morning to announce a new ballot initiative that would make property tax increases less dramatic.
Under this proposal, Colorado voters will see their average property tax increase go from over $1,000 to just over $400. Obviously, the exact amounts depend on where you live, the value of your home, the increase in the value of your home. But just so you're looking at this as the state average, from over $1,000 increase to about a $400 increase.
This proposition would mean the first $40,000 of your home would not be taxed. And it would cap district property tax collections at 8%.
This is a property tax cut proposal, and then it uses some of the surplus money to backfill. I think voters want to backfill schools and ambulance districts and fire districts.
Part of the initiative asks voters to allow surplus funds from the Taxpayer Bill of Rights to pay for things that property taxes would have gone toward. Governor Polis says people would still get Tabor refunds, but they'd be a little less.
To recap, even if this ballot initiative passes, your property taxes will likely still go up. Just not as much as you thought. Governor Polis says in some cases the increase could be cut by 50%. There would be a bigger decrease for the next 2 years because of another bill that the legislature had previously passed.
A lot of people are getting these notes in the mail.
Yes.
They're looking pretty scary.
Yeah, they're really high all across Colorado. Every county in Colorado, the median price went up.
Yeah, and this is something that always somehow gets people's attention. You know, you get that junk mail that you just toss away. You open this and you go, what? I mean, yeah. So no wonder they had to come out and do something. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
It will, yeah.
Yeah, and putting it in front of the voters, too. That's another angle of this.
Got a feeling there will be opinions.
Yeah, we'll be covering this for a while.
All right, Katie, thanks.
Thanks.
We talk about a nice day outside. Let's take a live look now with a Horsetooth Reservoir camera. Beautiful warm day around the state. And as we take a look outside of our studios as well, another day in the 70s. Maybe more to come, Kathy, right?
The last couple of days, just glorious.
It's possible we've turned a page, friends.
May 1.
I don't want to get overconfident, but you know.
Turning the page.
72 degrees in downtown Denver, and this will not be the warmest day this week. There is a day this week we may come close to 80, but we also have a chance for thunder showers and some beneficial rain, which we always need the moisture here. In the meantime, it's beautiful in Denver and Boulder. We've got high and mid-level clouds coming in. Beautiful afternoon on the Continental Divide. Snow's melting, though, rapidly, and so concerns for flooding in some areas because of rapid snow melt. High pressure anchored right over us. We're sandwiched between this storm in the Midwest and an area of low pressure cut off across the coast of California, and this high and mid-layer cloud deck coming in. Tracking on radar a few weak showers, not really amounting to a whole lot, but this is an area we're going to be kind of concerned with. The Yampa River in and around Steamboat Springs, Moffat County, Routt County. We could be looking at rapid river rise due to snow melt, so we'll talk more about that. Temperatures today, we've got 71 in Steamboat, 71 in Denver, 79 in Springfield, 78 in Trinidad. Winds pretty light this evening, coming in out of the east and southeast, not a big factor. Partly cloudy skies overnight, maybe an isolated foothill shower. We get a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow, and we're right back into the 70s again, with all of the moisture staying up high in areas like Georgetown, Winter Park, and Estes Park. So basically a dry evening, comfortable evening to be out and about. Coming up in Maine weather, am tracking isolated evening showers. We'll talk about that. But for the first full week of May, this is a very mild weather pattern for what is typically a very stormy and wet month. So we'll talk about that and let you know when we will see another chance for showers.
We like that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll look forward to it.
Good start to May. Thanks, Kathy. We'll see you in just a bit.
Some serious weather to talk about. Several people died after a dust storm blew through central Illinois today. Illinois State Police say at least 40 to 60 passenger cars were involved in a crash with 2 semi-trucks and caught fire. The pilot shut down a portion of the highway in both directions just south of Springfield. State police say they have reports of more than 30 people being taken to the hospital. There are also several deaths being reported. No exact number, though, is known at this time.
To the western slope now, where Mesa County has settled a $2 million lawsuit over the in-custody death of a man at the Mesa County Jail. That man was 24-year-old Tomas Beaufort, who had intellectual disabilities and severe epilepsy. He was in custody at the Mesa Jail after being arrested for a misdemeanor assault in March of 2014. The lawsuit alleged that Beaufort frequently refused to take his life-saving medication, and jail staff frequently neglected to try and encourage him to take those meds. Beaufort died after suffering a seizure with no meds in his system. His mother says if he suffered from a different ailment, more steps would have been taken to save him.
If he were having a heart attack, they would have called 911. If he were having an asthma attack, they would have called 911. But he had a seizure over and over and over again, and they let him die.
Mesa County Sheriff directly apologized to Marsh and noted that they have changed their training for dealing with intellectually disabled individuals.
The Broncos are sharing their love and support to a former teammate, Bronco Shaq Barrett. His daughter drowned in the family swimming pool over the weekend. Police say the 2-year-old girl fell into the pool in South Tampa yesterday morning. She was rushed to a local hospital, but life-saving efforts could not save her. Barrett currently plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played for the Broncos from 2015 to 2018. The Broncos sent a message on Twitter saying Broncos country is with the entire Barrett family.
Tonight, family, friends, and a community will be remembering 2 people killed at a restaurant in northwest Denver a week ago. They're raising money for Emerald Vaughn Daler and Ignacio Gutierrez. Someone shot and killed them both inside of American Elm off 38th and Raleigh. Now, Hops and Pie will be hosting the fundraiser along with other restaurants and breweries. That starts at 5 o'clock. They're asking for people to give $50 to a fundraiser benefiting the families of the victims, and they've already raised more than $114,000. New Image Brewing in Arvada, where Emerald used to work, is also hosting a benefit for her family. Police say they're still looking for a suspect in the shooting and are offering up to a $5,000 reward for information.
There's a bit of a hiccup with regard to Colorado's effort to reintroduce wolves. As a 9 News investigation has found, Colorado does not yet know where the wolves will come from. One state has already said no. Voters approved a plan in 2020 that would bring the wolves back by the end of the year. Colorado's management plan lists Wyoming as a possible source, but their governor told 9 News he won't do that. Wyoming worries adding wolves to Colorado will disrupt how they manage the state's wolf population. Leaders also worry about putting wolves in our state and putting them closer to ranches, farms, and towns in Wyoming, places where wolves typically don't live.
There will be conflict. I mean, wolves were, they're large carnivores, and they will go find the quickest and easiest means to fill their belly.
Tonight on Next, we'll look at other options for Colorado and what those states have to say about the idea of sharing wolves.
In Texas, the search continues. This after a man shot his neighbors after they had asked him to stop shooting his gun into the ground.
Could a planned strike and picketing cause major disruptions to your travel plans? Not if American Airlines has anything to say about it.
And a bet is a bet. We made a wager with our sister station in Seattle on the Kraken versus the Avs playoff series.
Yeah, and because the Avs sadly lost,
we have to pay up.
No, we don't have to pay up. I have to pay up. And we're doing it live on 9 News Mornings.